we had a 5-member committee, and we had to take steps to get back the authority of the strong mayor that the people of James Island voted for when they voted to incorporate. No, I would not go away from the strong mayor, because I have seen what happened, and it was almost nothing in that second town, and we ended up with $3.5 million, which they took from us. We don't need to try to get so many surpluses. We don't pay taxes to the town of James Island. No one has ever paid a tax to the town of James Island. We pay taxes to the PSD, and we promised to take that money and do the best we could with it, and we have, and give back to the people. Thank you.
Mr. Johnson.
I would say that we would keep the strong mayor, because it is a checks and balance with council members. That's what makes it work. If you go to a town manager, you're going to end up paying probably a lot more money than we're paying now for a mayor, which I think we're paying a little too much now. You're going to pay a lot more money, and there's going to be a lot more bureaucratic stuff put in there with the town manager versus the system that we have set up right now.
Mr. Sloan.
Mr. Johnson is correct. That to have an administrative form of government would cost us significantly more than it costs us currently. The bottom line is that the people voted when they created the town to have a strong mayor form of government. In order to change that, we would have to have another general election changing that particular form of government. I wouldn't necessarily be opposed to it, but I definitely wouldn't be a proponent. Currently, we need someone in the office that's responsible to the people, that can make the changes and make the decisions that are required for us to flourish as a town. So I would not support that currently.
Mr. Woolsey.
It's true that to move from a strong mayor form of government to either a council form of government or a council manager form of government would require a referendum. And so the first time it would be reasonable to have such a referendum would be in 2 years. I would support a move to a council administrator form of government. We are in a very special situation. While we have a large population, and so we're one of the larger cities in the town, well, largest municipalities in the state in terms of population, we have a very small government because most of our governmental responsibilities are handled by the PSD. So we really don't need a strong mayor to administrate 5 or 10 people. If you look at small municipalities, they don't spend much more than we do. What we spend, we have a planning consultant that acts as administrator plus a mayor, so we're spending $95,000. We could get all we could done for less. Thank you.
How would you work to improve the way information about the town is made available to the public? And Ms. Clark start.
I don't know that there would be improvement. We have our website. We have, of course, each meeting we send out the press releases. The people come, and believe me, the people speak back, and they take with them what happens in town hall. And I don't think that we have ever pulled a curtain on any business in the town hall. We do, our town is an open book to everyone. We do need a full-time mayor because people come in and they want to see that mayor in a seat, and they come back almost every day. Someone comes in to see me, and they take back with them whatever satisfaction they get out of it. I don't see that we could improve. The Post-Courier has never written anything that we wanted. They've been biased from day one. We have the little paper on James Island, the Messenger, come to every meeting. Ed Fennell comes from the paper, and he writes fairly, but you almost can't get letters to the editor. I've stopped trying. And I see that some people may have some better ideas. Maybe we can have a committee, but right at present, I think we do a pretty good job.
Mr. Johnson.
Well, I think our website needs to be a little more efficient. It needs to post the day after a meeting out there, but not everybody on James Island has access to email, websites. So we need to come up with some type of newsletter. And if we can make some concessions with James Island PSD, it's been mentioned to me before that it'd be great to have something in there. Everybody in this town gets a water bill. So in that water bill, if we could pay for the stamps or the envelopes or something, along with James Island PSD, and put our newsletter in there, I think we could touch a lot more people and they could get the information with that in mind.
Mr. Sloan.
currently in the town we have now, to get any sort of financial information, such as year-to-date spending, you have to do a Freedom of Information Act, which takes 2 weeks for the mayor to deny. That's not what we need as far as a transparent government. We need to have the information available to anybody whenever they want to see it. There's absolutely nothing that should be hidden with regards to financial spending for the town. We need to have that information. We also need to have the sessions videotaped, so that if you can't make it out that evening, that you can come on YouTube and watch the town hall and their meetings, so that you can always be involved when you decide that you want to be involved. We would make all those changes almost immediately after being elected, and I hope that that's what happens.
Mr. Wilsey?
I guess I realize that some people don't have access to computers, but I would suggest that you look at the websites of any of the other towns and cities in South Carolina and compare them to ours. You know, you can go to most towns and you can see their budgets, you know, not just this year, but last year and the year before. You know, the agendas for the most recent meeting, it didn't show up on the website at all. You have to go, if you want to find out what's going to be at the next meeting, you have to show up to the town hall and you look what's on the door. And so I really think that we need to use our website to communicate with people the financial information and what's going to happen, what has happened. I think Mr. Johnson's idea of getting information in the water bills is a great one. And I'm not sure I want to be a TV star, but you know, if the people want to watch me, I can go with YouTube too.
Mr. Brown?
Well, I'm the website guy up here. That's what I do for a living. I put the Post and Courier online, and I put the Town of James Island online. In the year 2002, I was running the first website until we transferred that responsibility to Mary's son. Our website needs a significant upgrade. Not only does it need to have the financial information and possibly streaming video of our town meetings so that people who can't make it to town hall can watch them live. It would be also nice to have an archive of those like Mr. Sloan is doing now on YouTube. But we also want to do the business of the town online. We want to be able to accept credit cards. We want to be able to apply for permits 24/7 online, not have to go to town hall between 9 and 12, Monday through Thursday. And if having access to technology is a problem on this island, we should fix that. We should start getting computers to the people who can't afford them.
Many streets on James Island serve as cut-through streets with dangerous traffic. Do you support traffic calming or speed bumps? Start with Mr. Johnson.
Could you repeat that first part for me?
Many streets on James Island serve as cut-through streets. Cut-through, and that causes dangerous traffic. The question is, do you support traffic calming devices?
Yeah, it's all a case-by-case scenario. You got to look at the neighborhood. We're putting up signs, well, the city's putting up signs that you can't come through this neighborhood during such an X amount of time, or make a left-hand turn, or you get a $300 fine. I don't know how much of a deterrent that is, other than I know some people that lived in the neighborhoods and made a wrong left-hand turn, and ended up getting a $300 fine. Speed bumps have their places. I live on Wellington Drive. I don't have a four-way stop sign, I have a two-way stop sign in my intersection. And I don't understand why I don't have a four-way stop in the middle of the neighborhood. There's just things we got to take one at a time, take a look at those roads, and make sure they're viable for the neighborhood. And you also have to take into consideration the fire department. I asked for them on Quail years ago. Fire department said they couldn't put them through there because that's their main access road to get back and forth on the island. Thank you.
Mr. Sloan?
Mr. Johnson is correct in that it is going to be a case-by-case situation, and we need to work and try different solutions and see what we can do to actually solve the problem instead of putting up a brake or speed bump right away. So we need to do things like Speed enforcement, some of those signs that have the digital speed things, that always gets me. Some stop signs and things like that, but we have to listen to the community and see exactly what they want. We have to take into account what the general services, such as the fire department, what they can live with. There's a lot of different things that have to be considered prior to making the decision, yes, we're going to put speed bumps everywhere. So it is going to be a case-by-case situation, and it won't find an enemy in my administration.
Mr. Woolsey?
In the last count, I ended up having to write the traffic calming policy, and it included proposals for speed humps, traffic calming devices. And in my view, one of the key criteria is to get a consensus of the people in the neighborhood. And then, if there are no other good options, then we should, I would be in favor of having speed humps in some cases. The real problem is that speed humps are expensive, and we have very limited funds. And, really when we talk about getting computers for all the people in James Island, adding bypass behind all the neighborhoods, every once in a while the county comes up with some money and says, hey, we can do an improvement for you. Sidewalks and bypass around the schools, great, I'll be all for that. But, you just need to keep in mind, we have very limited funds, and it's, where we're going to be cutting, not all the things we're going to be adding, the realistic view in the near future. Thank you.
Mr. Brown?
Speed bumps are really always the wrong answer. Cut-throughs are a symptom of poor city planning. We rely too much on arterial roads, and we don't have an interconnected town. So people cut through from an arterial road to an arterial road when, if everything was connected, there would be a bunch of different routes to go to get to where you were headed. Let me give you a quick example. Picture, if you will, leaving the Lowe's parking lot in Ellis Oaks, and you want to get to Harborview Road. You have to exit and get onto Folly Road before you get onto the connector to get to Harborview Road. If we simply made a quick cut through so that you could exit and get right on the connector, then we're going to alleviate a lot of the problem, right? And having those those roads means there's fewer cut throughs because the traffic is dispersed over a wider area. So I'm against speed bumps on individual streets where people are traveling too fast. There are better design solutions than speed bumps.
Ms. Clark?
The greatest number of requests we had in the second town and the third town were for speed bumps, humps. What they chose humps now. Unfortunately, you have to go through DOT on state roads, and a great many of our roads on James Island are state roads. They require that you purchase the actual piece of land from them that the speed hump goes onto, and they also hold the engineer responsible for or liable for any accidents on it. So it's hard to get engineers to bid on this, and it's also difficult to get through DOT because we've asked for a number of things and have not gotten from them, and I meet with them periodically. So the people, if you need a four-way stop, bring it to the town hall, and we will, at our next meeting with DOT, we will ask that that doesn't mean we're going to get it, because they need to study, and then they will tell you if they will do it or not. You have no jurisdiction over it.
Thank you. This is going to be the last, excuse me, the last question, and then we will go to your closing remarks. What part do you think Historic James Island should have in the upcoming centennial celebration? Starting with you, Mr. Sloan.
The bottom line for me is that we do not have the funds to continue to provide an exorbitant amount of money for this particular project. Over the last 2 years, we have dedicated in our budget, I think $110,000 towards this celebration. I have no problem with the celebration happening. I have a problem with us spending more on it than we spend on